I do so hope that you will come to the LA Fire Relief Yoga event on Saturday, February 22nd at the Winslow Assembly Center in Pleasant Hill. Even if you don't do yoga, you do now, and it's highly accessible. It's going to be a great group, and all the proceeds go to the right place. And it's just going to be a great gathering of the tribe. I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, this week the topic has been you cannot, through the force of self will as a finite being, force the infinite to do your bidding. You might get a hold of some force for a little while and bend and shape it into something hideous and distorted, but that's okay because it's not fundamentally true. It's not supported by the truth of being. It will disintegrate on its own accord, and this is a good thing. We all know that, or we're learning it. Sometimes the hard way, sometimes the humility way. But anyway, the this capacity that we have to engage certain things that we can do, think, say, believe, our spiritual practice, if you will, is what I guess we might say opens us up so that more of the infinite can fit in our vessel. And as we've used in a variety of metaphors this week, there's no limit to the size of our vessel, how much infinite can fit in our finite selves. And the effect of allowing and accommodating more and more of the infinite to move in and through us is nothing less than absolutely, utterly miraculous and astonishing. And I'm not going to soften my verbiage on that because it's nothing less than miraculous. In the recovery movement, there are a variety of places in that spiritual scripture where it talks about the promises. There's one primary promise place, and it's after a good deal of the work has been done on cleaning up our character and cleaning up and flying right, that these promises are mentioned, and these promises are dang amazing. I mean, it talks about how before we're even halfway through, we'll know a new freedom and a new happiness. Fear of economic insecurity will go away. We will suddenly realize God is doing for us what we can't do for ourselves. It is an amazing set of promises. And I think Bill Wilson, when he wrote that, he realizes we alcoholics in recovery can sometimes be grandiose beings. And so the language was tempered, and necessarily so. But I really want to stretch the boundary of what the promises are when we really get out of our own way and the infinite really does begin to move in and through us. When we really do go to work and go to work at the deepest level of our being and clear out our arteries of pain and fear and worry and resentment and anger and bitterness and delusion and ignorance and insipidness and vanity and yada, yada, yada. When those begin to clear out bit by bit, and more of the infinite is moving through us, there's a whole nother echelon of promises that happens. And we can't force that, but we do have the capacity with our self-will to engage the proper time-honored principles and practices that do facilitate these even much greater, much larger promises to come true. Now, I was going to read the best list of these promises that I've ever read in my life. It's in Emmett Fox's Sermon on the Mount. And for some reason, my Audible on my phone isn't showing me, I can't find it. So, but I know where those promises are. They're right in my own head and my own heart. And while this will be paraphrased to some degree, it talks about what happens when we really do get the momentum and we've undergone this spiritual shift in our life and the pole switch from a material premise to really putting God first and doing it over a long period of time. But, it says things like we are going to know a joy and an ecstasy in all of our talents, gifts, capacities, and God-given abilities are put to their maximal use for the well-being of ourselves and everyone around us. We will be supported and surrounded by only the kindest, most loving, most collaborative, most helpful people. We will find that problems which used to dog us, which used to make us miserable and make life suffering, they dissipate just in the process of life and life itself. We will find that we are elevated to new levels of influence, capacity, understanding, and knowledge, so that we become nothing less than a light in the world as more and more lampshades of ignorance are removed from us. And as it says in all the world scriptures, that we will become like a city on the hill. And we don't do this spiritual practice to hide. We do it so this light ignites inside of us. And uh, in short, we will realize that the love and the power of God aren't just better than too good to be true. They are true because it is true. And this is where we're headed as we let the infinite move in and through us. And I frankly think there's nothing more powerful, more encouraging, more faith building than to remember, to recall, to reaffirm, and to re-embed that in my consciousness. And that's my purpose in speaking today. And I hope and I bet that it's kindled the same remembrance inside of you, because it's right inside of you as well, as we get out of our own way and let this infinite flow through us. Whatever we're struggling with today will be child's play in the future, and we'll be playing in a whole new world. Yay. Anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow. Let's talk about it and have a beautiful day.